Okay, so welcome to the Leadership Masterclass, guys. And I want to thank you guys for being on, and thank you guys for tuning in. Let's get started with developing leadership. And leadership is a key to any business because leadership is what moves mountains. Leadership is what gets people to take action when they wouldn't have taken action on themselves. By themselves. Leadership is a culmination of talents and skills and information, right, that provides people, and it should be always evolving and growing, that gives people the capacity or the capability to create tiers of people that can make things happen with or without you. That's where residual income comes from, the ability to lead and influence, right? And influence people to make decisions for the betterment of their own life, while simultaneously, which is the betterment of yours too. But leadership development is something that is never, it's a journey, it's not a destination. You'll never master it, but you can get better and better and better at it. And the goal is to get a little better every single day. But let's talk about some of the things in leadership that is very, 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 very important. And I'm going to start with some resources that you can really go through to master leadership. Number one, the first one in resources is called the Craig Groeschel Leadership Podcast. Craig Groeschel, it's like Grochell, Leadership Podcast, probably one of the best podcasts I've ever listened to. Lisa's the one who turned me on to it. He's a pastor. He's an incredible speaker. When he's live in person, when he does his podcasts, he's good, but he's more, kind of toned down a little bit. When he speaks and preaches, he's a couple octaves up, but he's phenomenal. His content is phenomenal. It's great stuff. And it's really good. So I just wanted to let you guys know that that's a great resource. Is the Craig Groeschel Leadership Podcast. The other resource that I really love is the Ed Mylett podcast. It's called, Max Out with Ed Mylett. And that's another great one. Some other content that I really highly encourage and recommend, the Dale Carnegie Leadership Mastery Course. It's a 6 or 8 audio set. I have it in my Dropbox. If you don't have it yet, I can send it to you. But it's the Dale Carnegie Leadership Mastery Course. I will tell you guys this. I got stuck at Master Coordinator for a year straight, and I wasn't growing. I was stagnating, and I realized as I was listening to stuff, it was my leadership skill was stuck. I had a limited leadership skill, and I got that Leadership Mastery Course, and I went through that Leadership Mastery Course 2 or 3 times in a row. And I literally went to professional coordinator and then national supervising coordinator when I went to do more leadership development. Every time I grew, I did more leadership development. Right now, my goal is to just develop even better leadership skills. That's why I just got these, that I showed you guys earlier. John Maxwell, the difference maker. John Maxwell, the leader's greatest return. Attracting, developing, and multiplying leaders. John Maxwell, no limits. Blow the cap off of your capacity. Anything John Maxwell is good. My favorite John Maxwell book is probably Developing the Leader Within You, followed by the Developing the Leaders Around You. So they're my 2 probably favorites from John Maxwell. Developing the Leader Within You, and then Developing the Leaders Around You. You can also do the 17 irrefutable or indisputable laws of leadership is a great one. That was one of his originals. So anything from that is good. Andy Stanley Leadership Podcast is another great resource for leadership. And the book How to Win Friends and Influence People from Dale Carnegie, one of the original leadership books. How to Win Friends is phenomenal. In fact, one of the most, if not the most valuable, leadership book that I've ever, from a business perspective, read, right? So anyway, that's that. That is that. There you go. Yep, there you go. Craig Groeschel, Life.Church, Leadership Podcast. There you go. Good stuff. So awesome. Appreciate you guys for the feedback. All right, great. All right, so that's some good resources for you. And obviously, there's no resource that's going to be better than what? Your personal experiences. learning what to do, right? So let's talk about things that are common throughout leadership and leadership development. Things that are in common through leaders and leadership development, okay? First thing is when you're a leader, you need to have more, you have to create more. I want you to write these down and take notes. Each point I make, write these notes down, right? You have the resources. Now let's talk about some of the keys and tips of leadership. First and foremost, now all these, none of this stuff's really more important than the other. I just have this written out in the context that I learned it. But anyway, first thing is a leader has to provide more clarity than confusion. You need to have and provide more clarity than confusion. When you are doing something, you need to be clear on what it is you do and how it's done. And when you talk about it, you have to be crystal clear about that. You can't provide confusion. You have to have clarity, okay? One of the things, so that's number one, have more clarity than you have confusion. You have to have clarity of where you're going. You have to know where you're going, right? And what it takes to get there. More clarity than confusion. Second thing is you have to have the right mindset, because the mindset that you have, it's what's going to create the environment around you that's going to attract other people that have leadership skills and abilities, right? So how do you work on that mindset? How do you create that mindset? Well, obviously, self-development every single day is one, devouring these information. But another thing is how you declare your day. How do you declare your mindset? How do you declare where you're at right there? How do you declare how you feel physically, how you feel emotionally, how you feel mentally, how you declare the state that you are in at that moment? Wake up in the morning and declare that it's going to be a great day. You understand what I'm saying? Declare it. This is going to be a great day. We have the best team in the world. Nothing can stop this team. I would go to war with this team. Couple things that does. Number one, it shows confidence in your team, and your team hears it. Number two, guess what? You believe it, and when you believe it, you lift others up with your words. So if you don't feel good, that's my wife. She thinks I'm nuts half the time, but like, if I start getting a little scratchy throat or anything like that, I'm like, dude, I'm a machine, dude. These germs ain't got a prayer on me. You know? Like, it's all good. Like, I got it covered. You know, I might not feel good. I might, but I am never going to admit to myself that I'm feeling a way that I don't want to feel. I will not broadcast it out to the world, ever. Right? Unless and I'll catch myself. Cancel that. You know? It's all about that. How you declare, because where's energy come from? What you expect of yourself. So that's number three, your expectations of yourself. What do you expect? Set high expectations, high levels of expectations. Listen, you ain't tired. You're unmotivated. You're uninspired. If you're inspired and you're helping people change their life, you never feel tired. You just pass out when it's time to go to bed. But you ain't worn out. You're just uninspired. Leaders are never tired. They're just uninspired. That's a good one. Good leaderships are never tired. They're just uninspired. No matter what. It's at mind over matter, guys. And until you've overcome something, anxiety, being tired, like being mentally drained, exhausted, worn down, until you've overcome it and you have mastered it with your mind, right? And you believe that you could, once it happens, you realize you can do anything. And I wholeheartedly believe that God gives us that ability, right? That's a God-given ability. And nothing is more powerful than that. Wouldn't you agree? So let's go. See what I'm saying? Without preaching to you. I'm not trying to pray. I'm trying to, but I just want, it's that stinking important, right? So do it, right? Speak it to yourself. Declare it. You're a leader. Declare it. And then help provide that. Where's Darwin at? I was picking on him the other day. Where are you at? Darwin got on the phone with me, and Darwin's one of the most uplifting, upbeat. Where you at, D? Where'd he go? Did he drop off? He was on a minute ago. Anyway, there he is. I see you. Now I can see you. There he is. The other day, Darwin got on the phone. What'd you say to me, Darwin? Unmute yourself. Tell him what you said to me. He said, I'm okay. I said, yo, how you doing? What'd you say?
What I say?
Yeah, what did you say when I jumped on? He said, I'm okay. I'm all right. What'd I say?
That's the last damn time I ever say that.
That's right. I said, dude, what do you mean you're all right? You're talking to me. You're more than all right. Even if you're not feeling great, just tell yourself you're better than you are. You'll convince yourself, right? And by the way, he's one of the best at this. That's why I think the only reason why it surprised me, because he never says that. But boom, boom. That's what it's all about. Listen, we all need something like that. I want you guys to jump on my butt. If I ever say, oh, I'm good, I'm okay. No, you ain't good. What's that crap? You're incredible. You're a leader. You're providing guidance, right? Declare it. Another thing leader can do, and this is right here, and this was one of, and they went into full detail. A leader can dictate their own mental state. A leader can dictate their own mental state. No matter what happens, it's not what happens that matters most. It's how you think about what happens, how you feel about what happens. One of my good buddies in the business one time, Chris, he used to say, dude, the world could be coming to an end and you would have a positive spin on it. Oh, well, at least yeah, that's what it's all about. Leaders can dictate their own mental state. Here's another one. Ready? A leader's emotions will lead their actions, whereas somebody that's not a leader will let their actions lead their emotions. Let me repeat that. A strong leader's their emotions will lead their actions. Their emotions will lead their actions. Their actions won't lead their emotions. Meaning you can control those emotions, which controls what actions you take, versus only taking action. You only feel good because of the actions. You understand? A leader's emotions will lead their actions. They don't let their actions lead their emotions. Lead with the heart, essentially. Here's another one that's huge for leadership. You have to become an attractive to the type of prospect you want to attract. You have to become attractive to the type of prospect you want to attract. So the easiest way that you want to do that is think of, what's the type of person do I want in the business? Do I want an all-in type of person? Or do I want somebody who is a whiner? Or someone who loves what they do, or somebody that's questioning it, or somebody that's passionate, or somebody who's hesitant? Somebody who always needs to take a mental break, or somebody that mentally just controls their mental state all the time? And the answer to that is, if I want this type of person, then how do you become it? You have to become attractive to the type of person that you want to have in your business, that you want to attract. And that's by becoming the person that you want. Becoming the go now. So think about this. Every time you speak, every time you think, every time you do, every time you act, every time you make an excuse, and we all do this stuff. I'm not picking on anybody. I'm actually speaking to myself right now, by the way, through you guys, right? So I'm not picking on any given one person, right? But I want to work on myself because I want to be more attractive to the people that are what? That I want to be around. That's where the energy comes from. I want a high energy person. Do I want, you know what I mean? Like, that's me. Next one is you need to have, listen to this. This is leadership, man. Oh my goodness. Lead from the front. Do what you expect others to do. Never ask somebody to do something you're not willing to do yourself. Lead from the front. Do it. You set the bar by what you do, by leading others, and they won't go above that unless you get lucky. You don't live anything up. Leaders don't live anything up to luck. They know it's all a matter of focus, time, dedication. Here's another one that I love about leadership development. You have to have a belief so strong you fill the room you're in with it. You have to have a belief so strong that you fill the room you are in with it. This is another reason why local seminars are so powerful. We fill the room with the belief we have together when we're at local seminars. You can't feel that through a Zoom. You can only feel it if you're, like, if we were together right now, you would be like, you'd feel it from me. Like, I am like, my room is buzzing right now that I'm sitting in because I'm so ridiculously passionate about what I'm talking about here, because this is game-changing, life-changing stuff. Have belief so strong and fill the room with it. So one thing that people say, when I show them the plan, I might talk a little too much. Don't laugh. I might get a little too excited, right? I might expect to be done faster than I am, but one thing, everybody says the same thing when they're in my presence. Sometimes online it's a little tough. They might think, man, this guy's overselling the crap out of this, right? It's not. I just can't help it. If you were in my presence, you know it was passion. It was excitement. It was just belief. It's belief. That's one thing. When I meet with people in person, they say, hey, I can tell you believe in this thing, man. I can feel it. That's what you need, man. That's where you're attracting the right people. And that's when you know you got it. So how do you get to that point? Self-development. Listen to audios. Get your brain there. Don't let negative people in your ears. If they try to be, run away from them. I mean, you got to do what you got to do. Elizabeth Weber said early in her career, if people got negative, she ran away from them. She was like, la, 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 la. She literally would run if they were saying something stupid, negative. Ain't got no time for that. Got no time for that, right? This is so key, right? Have a belief so strong you can fill the room that you're in with it. Here's another great one. This is big from leadership. Public success takes place during private decisions. Your public success takes place during your private decisions. When nobody's looking, what are you doing? When nobody's looking and nobody's paying attention, are you listening to audios? Are you picking up the phone to make a call? Are you trying to get one more person on a training seminar? Right? Or are you just, hiding out and chillaxing and well, nobody's watching, so I can, you know what I'm saying? It's just like what happens in public is manifested in private. It's like the best, most elite athletes are the ones who practice the hardest and longest and most, right? Because what happens on the practice field transfers to the game field. It becomes automatic. Here's another one that is so huge. Leadership's success starts with being grateful and thankful. Gratitude. So big, universally big. If you're grateful for what you have and the skills you have, you will always be provided more because you are grateful and you are highlighted and you're open to more things. It makes a difference. Gratitude and thankfulness. All leaders have it that I've ever seen, like good leaders, because people love to be around people that are grateful and show humility, right? Here's one that I love. I heard this on a podcast the other day. I added this in here. It says, if nobody is following you, you aren't a leader. You're just taking a walk. If nobody's following you, you're not a leader. You're just taking a walk. And you can't force leadership. Leadership comes from the followers. You can't force a leadership. You have to develop the leadership skills, talents, and habits, and then people will follow you because of that. You can't create the leadership. You don't make yourself a leader. The followers make you the leader. Does that kind of make sense? And that is so big. It's so big. And that is developed by how you act, perform, show humility, go out there and love on people. Have the guts to push people. Have the guts to challenge people a little bit because you believe in them. I would tell you, maybe some of my biggest things sometimes that could be a hindrance for me is I believe in people more than they believe in themselves sometimes. Right? And guess what? I'll never stop. I will never stop. You know why? Because I know what a lot of people could do, and they don't even understand the capabilities they have. They're not even close what they have if they just did more, took more action, and then did enough in their brain developmentally so nothing takes them off course. And you figure out, by the way, when you do this stuff right, you are self-generating energy that you'll never get tired. You self-generate it. There's this point of like when you wake up in the morning, you have all this energy. You wake up in the morning. All of a sudden over the day you get tired, worn out. You hit the bottom where it's like, oh, you want to finish. I dare you and challenge you to push through that time. We all have it. I get there 3-4 o'clock during the day usually a lot. At the bottom. You know what I do? That's a challenge to me. Watch this. No body, you aren't in control. Nah, don't even yawn. That's a sign of weakness. Right? Telling you. I push through that, and here's what happens. You push through that, you get past that, here's what it does. Tired, boom. You hit that, boom. You push through it, all of a sudden. When you get past that, now you start producing energy, and you actually start energizing yourself. You actually get more energy through time, so that at the end of the day, you're at the highest peak. On Thursday, not this past Thursday, the Thursday before, I had one of those days, man. I pushed so hard through it. I did so much. I did more that day than I had done in 3 or 4 years. I had more results, success. I mean, it was crazy. That day was awesome. At the end of the day, Lisa's like, what is wrong with you? I couldn't stop. I was so pumped, excited. I had more stuff. I did more work and more things, mentally draining and exhausting. But I won, then I won, then I won, then I won, then I won. I kept on going. And I was unstoppable. I couldn't stop. At that night, she's like, what? You're crazy. You worked all day. I was more energized then than I was when I woke up in the morning. After like 16 or 17 straight hours. That's what happens. I dare you to push yourself past that limit and watch you change your life because of how you can self-generate that energy by just pushing yourself past it and realizing you can develop everything you want right here. You can get past all that right there. Non-stop. Just awesome. Lauren Ridinger is one who taught a lot to that to me, by the way. Lauren sleeps 3 to 4 hours a night. Now, I don't know how healthy 3 to 4 hours a night is, but at the same time, she has herself completely programmed. That's all she needs, right? And she'll pop little 10-minute naps here and there, like that. That's just what she does, right? But she is not tired, right? She has herself completely conditioned. That's all she needs. She tells herself all the time, Her and Andrew go back and forth. And Andrew loves 8 hours. I need my 8 hours, Lauren's like, you don't need it. Like they're funny when they go back and forth with it. Everybody, but she just programs herself. No, I personally, I can do 3 or 4 hours of sleep every once in a while. I haven't convinced myself that I can do. I like a good solid 7 or 8, but 6 I'm good. I'm on a mission. but I like a good solid 7 or 8, you know, because when I wake up, I'm moving. I don't stop till it's bedtime. I'm like Hurricane Haley. She's my spirit animal. My little daughter. I always tell Lisa she's my spirit animal. She's crazy. She's up and she's boom, 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 boom. And then when she hits the boom, she's done. But she don't lose energy until it's done. It's time, right? So that is that. So remember this and write this down. Leadership is your ability to create an action in others that they wouldn't have taken on their own. My goodness, I love that. We already said this, but lead by example and inspire action by your example. Here's another mindset leaders have. Oh my goodness, is this big. The person who solves the most problems makes the most money. The person who solves the most problems makes the most money. It's another thing that I see so huge in Lauren Rydiger and JR too. When they have challenges, it's like they almost get, I'm the same way, you get excited about it. You have a challenge, boom, let's fix it. Come on, let's figure it out, especially if I don't know the answer. Hey, let's figure it out. That's why I'm so excited about figuring out these hybrid events. Why I get so pumped about, hey, we got to find a solution right now because we got a good few months, if not a little longer, where we're going to be able to get back into large groups again. So we got to get creative. How can we solve the problem? Being a creative problem solver. Leaders don't hesitate. They make decisions. That's another one. Leaders make decisions. Right or wrong, they make decisions. Leaders make decisions. They make decisions. Even if they're wrong. A wrong decision is better than a non-decision because you're going to learn how to fix it even if you made the wrong decision, right? Leaders make decisions. They don't think too long. They make decisions. I want you guys to write 2 things on your screen down now. I want you to write down a leader's prison and a leader's freedom versus freedom. Prison on the left side, freedom on the right side. I'm going to give you a couple things. It's mindset you're thinking when you're a leader in Marketing America. If you're thinking about BV, that's a prison to you. If you're focused on BV, you're in a prison of your own making. You're worried about BV. Under the freedoms on the same line, skills. Don't focus on BV, focus on skills. Skills will lead to what? BV. Another prison is people, focusing on getting people, the numbers of people. But the freedom is people skills or people abilities. So the prison is just focused on getting people, but the freedom is working on developing your people abilities.
I'm going to leave on here.
I got you, Cynthia. There you go. I caught it. Another one, the prison is luck. How many people said, man, maybe I'll get lucky and my first 2 people will do it? That's a prison. No guarantee that you're going to get lucky. So that's another prison, is luck. The freedom is consistency and persistence. Just keep on, keep it on. Okay. So that's your prison versus freedom from leadership. All right. Here's a couple more things on this leadership stuff that are just mindset things that what you keep on focusing on. And when you start doing these is all thoughts. It's just what this is what I put together here is designed to do is to make you think about how you respond to each one of these things. And hey, does that resonate with me? Do I do that, or do I catch myself not? Like, my whole thing is, when I'm going through this, I'm thinking to myself, man, I can think of a situation where I was completely doing the wrong thing right now. I have to catch myself at that moment and adjust it then. By the way, when you start teaching is when you identify it more too. Being aware, being self-aware. That's another thing. Leaders are, you write this down, leaders are self-aware. Good leaders are self-aware. Here's some skills that leaders need to have. A leader praises small wins early and often. Recognition, recognition, recognition. Here's what I love. I love this quote. Rewarded behavior gets repeated. Rewarded behaviors get repeated. That means if you want behaviors repeated, make sure that behaviors are rewarded. By the way, that's not just to your people. That's to yourself. That's to yourself. Enjoy the win. Tell yourself how great you did. Lisa laughs at me. I go to Lisa and say, hey, I freaking crushed it today. Like I did, man, reward yourself. Hey, if somebody's not going to love on you, if you're not going to love on you, who else is going to, right? Reward yourself. Man, guys, this stuff is gold. I mean, this stuff is absolute sheer gold. And you might think it's whatever, shenanigans. I'm telling you, this is over and above the majority of things you'll ever need to know to become a successful entrepreneur. Is really becoming what you're learning here, and going from there. Praise small wins early and often, because rewarded behavior gets repeated, not only to your team, but to yourself. Reward yourself. Enjoy it, right? I know Nick and Britt, when they have something, they have a good day, what do you guys do? Sushi! Right? That's Lisa and I too. Let's get some sushi. Right, Brittany? She's like, yeah, it's Nick. Yeah, that's true. Sushi and wine, baby. I know. We've done it many times, Mr. Friday. Nick, you know how many times? Do you know how many times I look back in my whatever you want to call it, Facebook memories, and it's you and me either having wine or sushi, or both. Or a Hefeweizen at Isaac Newton's, right? When we were winning, we succeed. You gotta celebrate your own wins, not just your people's wins, but your own, right? That's what's called falling in love with the process. Leaders love the process. They don't focus on the result. That's another great one. Write that one down. Leaders love the process. They don't focus on the result. Here's another thing about leadership, man. This is a great one too. People need to enjoy their time with you more than when they're not with you. People need to enjoy, you need to make people's lives better because they're around you. And great leaders do that. Like, one of the things that I've noticed about really successful franchise owners, including people in our team, is that they're successful a lot of times because people just love being around them, and they just want to be with them and around them and be a part of their world, be in their presence. And that leads to greatness. Such a powerful, 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 powerful thing. All right, I got some more stuff that I have that I'm going to share with you. Oh, here, I'm going to tell you, this one right here, you have to master this. You want to be a leader, you have to master this. Leaders have to be able to cast a vision big enough for all of their people to fit their own vision in it. Leaders have to be able to cast a vision, a believable vision that's big enough for all of their other leaders and their people's visions to fit within it. I'll give you an example. JR has a goal. What's JR's biggest goal? To fill a coliseum full of directors. We all know it, right? We've all heard him say it. What's Lisa and I's the thing that we've been talking about now? Nick and those of you who've been around, Pastor Pat and the town managers and Gina and a handful of you guys been around a while, Roseanne, what's ours?
A trip.
Yep, that's right. It's a trip where we have 100 six-figure earners and above, and over 1,000 executive coordinators above. And we have a big party on the beach, 12/12/22. Pastor Pat just put it. That's a Monday at noon, by the way. Don't forget, it's at noon. You have to throw that in there. It's 12/12/22 at 12 noon on a Monday. We're going to have a big party on the beach, and we're all going to be free, and we're going to talk about what we'd be doing at that moment if we wouldn't have done this. We'd be clocking in for lunch, right? And now we're free on the beaches of the Bahamas at the Atlantis Resort, free at noon on a Monday. Got it? It's really what it's all about, right? Cast a vision big enough that all of your people's visions for themselves can fit inside of it. And you have to be able to cast the vision so it's believable. I mean, I'm telling you guys, figure this one out. Cast the vision. Now remember, you can't force people to follow that vision. They have to want to follow it. You can't, this is a big one. You can't install your vision over top of your people. They need to lift your vision up. This is so key because sometimes we get so excited. I'm definitely, guilty of this. We get so excited that we want people to make it so much that we almost try to install a vision on people that don't want to be a part of it. They need to lift the vision up, right? You can bring it up, but they need to buy into it, right? And they need to make it, they need to manifest it. So casting a vision. Here's another thing. Leaders have a servant's heart. Every solid leader I found has a servant's heart. A servant's heart. And also, leaders are change agents. A leader is a change agent. They know how to make a change. Look at what happened in our team, how great we transitioned and changed as soon as the social distancing COVID thing hit. We were some of the best. That's why we have one of the fastest, if not the fastest growing teams in the company. We're right amongst them. Why? Because boom, boom, we made change. They weren't always the right change, but we made action. Zooms, put on your video or else I won't talk to your ass, you guys know how I am, right? Like I can't do it, right? Like a change agent, an expectation, become a change agent. So here's what I want you guys to do real quick. We're wrapping up on this leadership stuff. We got a couple more things. But I want you to think of 5 things you can do to change things for the better right now. Think of 5 things that you can do right now to change things for the better and write them down. I'll tell you what mine are. But think of 5 things you do right now. I'm going to just progressively give you some of mine. My first one, number 1, is I can be excited. I can get excited about something. That's how you want to change something, get excited about it. Get passionate and excited about something. That's one thing you do to make a change. Get passionate and excited about something. That's how you become a change agent. Second thing is let your people know how much you believe in them, so much that you go to war with them. This is one of mine. I will put this team, I will tell you right now, my organization, I'll put them up against any team in market America right now. Every single one. If there was a contest, if there was a contest, if there was an Olympics, a market America Olympics, I would take on anybody with this team. Right? because I know we got it. I go to war with my team. Create a movement is another thing to change it. Create a movement, something you can get passionate about, something you get. Look at the first thing that happened when we spoke. Darwin and I were talking about this right when the COVID thing hit. Say, guys, you realize the opportunity that we have right now? We can impact people's lives more than ever before because we can help people more than ever. We can change people's lives because right now we have the answer what everybody's about to have a problem with. We have the answer right here, right now. People need to buy from themselves from home. They need to convert their spending into earning. They want to get paid by buying themselves. They want to be able to make money from home. They want to make sure here's another thing that was a change agent for us. Instantly in May or April, boom, 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 we jumped right on this stuff. We had these calendars getting going. Why? Because I knew we had to bridge the gap that we were going to be missing, not being able to meet with people. It drives me crazy when all my leaders are on at least 2 of these every week because their team won't get on. If they don't, they wonder why they're not growing. Where's your butt? Where is it? You got to be on at least 2 of these a week so your team's on 2 a week because they need it. They need to be a part of it. Do things that create change. So key. So key. Looking at something from Darwin. I sent to Darwin the other day. Anticipate. That's a word. Leaders are great in anticipating. I don't have this written down. It just, Craig Rochelle has a podcast he did a month ago, and it was about anticipatory leadership. It is phenomenal. To me, it was probably one of my favorite podcasts I've ever listened to. One of my favorite podcasts I have ever listened to. Becoming a leader who anticipates. That's the title of it, right? And it is so stinking good. This is Craig Rochelle Leadership Podcast, by the way. And this is the one I'm talking about. You can see it on the screen, maybe. Craig Rochelle Leadership Podcast. Anticipatory leadership. Becoming a leader who anticipates. Last couple things, and then we're going to move on. But this has been, how many people are liking this part? Has it been good for you guys? I mean, this is solid gold. This is $1 Million Club member stuff. This is director and above level stuff. It's all development and becoming it, guys. It is just huge. Leaders also know another thing. It's not about you. JR never talks about what it's done for him. It's all about us. Whenever he's speaking on stage, he talks about how much BV it's going to create for you, how much volume it's going to create for you, how big of a team it's going to help you create for you. It's not about you. It's about your people. That's part of being a servant, having a servant's heart. Okay? Another thing leaders do is they create momentum by helping their team get wins. Leaders help their team get wins. How do you help your team get wins? I'll give you an example. Yesterday, I called Pat and, let's see, Pat and Deb. Where'd they go? There's, I see Deb. So I called Pat and Deb, right? And I said, Pat, we had a meeting that we were supposed to have. And I said, hey, Pat, can we make some calls we got to make some calls. Why do I want to make calls with Pat? Because I want him to get comfortable with the calls. Because a lot of us in today's day and age are comfortable with what? Facebook Messenger, text messenger, email. But we're not as comfortable with the call, but the call is the impact. Because a call shows people how much they matter to you, and that they're not just a number and you're not spamming to them, but you're pouring into them. I use stuff to get them on the phone, but I want them to hear my voice inflection, and I want to offer them either an evaluation or offer. I'm going to make the call by helping my team get small wins. I know if I get somebody to make 10 calls, they're going to get probably 2 to 4 business plans. And out of those 2 to 4 business plans, there's a good chance we'll probably get one person that'll do a trial run and lead the people and get started with 3 or 4 others. And that's how you create wins. Anything you can do it with your people. Edify your people. Success always. Yeah, calling is all important, man. The phone is a difference maker. Real conversations is the difference maker. My goodness. Leaders have a tough skin, but they have a soft heart. Leaders have a tough skin with a soft heart. You have to have tough skin, but you have to have a soft heart. You can't be hardened. Protect your heart, but have a soft heart. Leaders create and inspire new leaders by instilling faith in their leadership abilities and helping them develop and hone their leadership skills that they don't even know they possess. Let me repeat that. Leaders create and inspire new leaders by instilling faith in their leadership abilities and helping them develop and hone those leadership skills that they didn't know they even had existing. Highlighting people, the skills they have, and then helping them hone the skills that they have to improve upon. And as long as it's coming from the heart, when you're helping people get better, it'll be received right. It has to come from the heart. Okay? Leaders are not, I'm going to tell you guys, this is something that is so vital in this business. I can't tell you how big this is. Leaders are not threatened by people with great leadership potential in their team. They love it. They let them do what they need to do. They inspire them to do it without them. Now, don't get me wrong. Every once in a while, they need us. But great leaders are not threatened by people with great leadership potential because of they might lose the attention from themselves. Right? I get it. We all have a little ego here, ego there. We want the attention. I understand. But we need, as a great leader, gets over that really quickly. Leaders are not threatened by people with great leadership potential. Here's another awesome one, man. This is such great stuff. Most people produce only when they feel like it. Leaders produce even when they don't feel like it. Many times, leaders even forget they're in a race. They just love to run. Man, is that good. Most people produce only when they feel like it. But leaders produce even when they don't feel like it. And many times, leaders even forget they're in a race. They just love to run. I love that because that's just like me. I just always challenging myself more. What more can you do? By the way, you can never, leaders never know how far they can go until they go too far. You might want to write that one down too. You'll never know how far you can go until you go too far. And then guess what? When you go too far, that's not too far the next time. Keep on pushing, keep on getting better. It's kind of like, hey, when you're lifting, right? Like Coach Nick, he knows when you lift, you don't lift until you start to get a little tired. You lift until you what? Can't go no more. And then you try to do one more anyway. You go to failure. Why? Because when you go to failure, you go too far. Now your body gets stronger, so it takes more to go to failure next time. I love what Muhammad Ali said about sit-ups. It was one time a guy said, hey, how many sit-ups you do a day? He goes, I don't know, because I don't start counting until they start to hurt. Listen to that. He sit up. He does many, and he doesn't start counting until he starts hurting. He counts when they start to hurt. He don't count the ones that don't hurt. I don't start counting until they start to hurt. So how many can you do once they start to hurt? How many more, right? Man, that's good stuff. Leaders create an environment that will attract other leaders. We already said that. Leaders must be an environmental change agent as well. An environmental change agent to make the best climate for attracting and raising up leaders and momentum and leaders. By the way, momentum is the greatest change agent of them all. Building momentum. So a leader must be an environmental change agent, not just information, but environmental, to make the best climate for attracting and raising up leaders. Momentum is the greatest change agent. Momentum. That's why I tell people, go all in. You might only want to sponsor one a month. I dare you to sponsor 4, 5, 6 a month by showing enough plans to do that. And watch the momentum you create. You're unstoppable. A leader cannot demand of others what he does not, or she does not demand of him or herself. A leader cannot demand others anything that they don't demand of themselves. Leaders identify their team and categorize them. They categorize, you have momentum makers, momentum takers, and momentum breakers. You have to categorize those people and know how to help them develop beyond it or keep them apart in some instances. This is like making tough decisions. By the way, great leaders make tough decisions. They make the tough decisions. Great leaders make tough decisions. One of them is categorizing people, not meaning that you're not going to pour into them and help them get better, but a great leader understands they have momentum makers, momentum takers, like they make their own momentum. Other takers, they join yours. And then you have momentum breakers. You get them involved and they ruin it. Everybody has all three of those in their business, by the way. You have to know how to keep the takers, the makers and the takers can be together, but the breakers, you got to keep them apart. You can't let them around your makers or takers because they'll ruin it. But those people that are making momentum breakers, guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to start saying, hey, here you go, Sharon. You know what I'm saying? Hey, I got something for you. You know what I mean? You say, I'm just picking on Dr. Sharon. You guys know what I'm saying? Here, this is for you, right? I want you to read this and get it back to me as soon as you're done. Or you send them an audio, right? Right? One of the things you guys might notice is I use audios as my doctor's toolkit, right? If I notice something that you work on, I'm going to send you audio on it. You'll be like, damn, now I get it. I'm always sharing stuff that I think that made an impact on me, that helped me, and I know it could help, whoever, Brittany, Nick, Dr. Sharon, Pastor Pat, Darwin. By the way, if I'm giving those stuff to you, that means I believe in you even more because I know that you're ready for it. You get it? So good. All right, last few. Drive, determination, and desire, not great natural talent, leads to extraordinary success. Drive, determination, and desire, not great natural talent, leads to extraordinary success. A leader knows the desires of the people they lead and do everything to help them get it. Do everything to help them get it. A leader knows the desires of the people. So you need to find out what people want. Leaders know what their people want. Here's another great one for your people. A great leader will find one thing that they believe is their potential leader's greatest asset. One thing. And they give 100%, 101% encouragement in that single area. You find that one asset in the leader that you have that's over and above the other assets, and they give 110% encouragement in that area for that leader. Not one of us. There's only been one perfect human being on earth, and it wasn't you or me in the history of the world. One perfect human, right? Wasn't us. So, no one's perfect. So what we focus on is what? The greatest, strongest asset, leadership asset that our encouraging and emerging leader has, and we pour 110% encouragement to them in that area to develop and skill and hone that access. Here's a great one as we get ready to wrap this part up. If you as a leader look for and find traces of gold in your people, start digging. You will uncover the mother lode. Like mining gold, many times several tons of dirt must be moved to get an ounce of gold. But you don't go into the mine looking for dirt. You go in looking for gold. I will tell you, it's one of my favorites of the whole thing here. If you as a leader look for and find traces of gold in your people, start digging. You will uncover the mother lode. Like mining gold, many times several tons of dirt must be moved to get an ounce of gold. But you don't go into the mine looking for dirt. You're looking for the gold. You just move the dirt. None of us are perfect. Let's move the dirt out and find our gold. You understand? Always place an emphasis on production, not position. Always place an emphasis on production, not position. Leaders always place an emphasis on production, not position. And leaders always create opportunities for growth for the people that they lead. Just going back to that thing where I say you have to cast a vision. It's another extension to that. You can go back to that, or you can add to that, or you put this down here, but it says you have to have a huge vision or a big vision. If you are doing big things, you attract big men. Little things, little men. And by the way, little men usually cause trouble. Not little people, not short people. Little minded. You understand? So big. So big. Big thinking. Final thought. Leaders, this is a final thought. Leaders know that personal growth and development of leadership skills are lifetime pursuits. It's a journey, not a destination. Great leaders share what they have learned directly with their rising leaders. A person can impress potential leaders from a distance, but only from up close can he impact them. Great leaders share what they have learned directly with their rising leaders. They share what they have learned. A person can impress potential leaders from a distance, but only from up close can he impact them. You have to share it with them in person. And I had one more that I had to get to. And that's this one. Character. Character is the most important quality of a leader. Serious character flaws will eventually make a leader ineffective every time and destroy their organization. Focus on character. What do you do when people aren't looking? Do you make the right decision? I got to tell you something about Nick Friday. Like Nick, he always does the right thing. He always does the right thing. Like, or what he feels is the right thing. You know, no one's perfect, like I said, but Nick, to me, like, that dude, like, if it's shady, he won't do it. He always does the right thing. No matter whether people are watching or not. Sometimes I'll convince him. Like, I'll try to convince him, yo, dude, it's okay. No, he needs to know it's the right thing. Guys, that's character. That's character. People are blessed to be on a team like Nick and Brittany's and Malavas and Steve Turner's and Gina's. We have a team full of Jack Beck, Pastor Pat, Debbie, you know, the Talmadge. You're talking about like Jason now. Unbelievable watching him develop. Just character upon character upon character, right? Doing the right things, even when nobody's looking. Leaders do the right things when no one's looking. All right, one more resource, and then we're done with this, guys, because I want you guys to know. And there's a book from John Maxwell, and I would tell you this may be now my new absolute all-time favorite. I just got done reading it, well, a couple of times now. It's called The 5 Levels of Leadership. John Maxwell's 5 Levels of Leadership. Position is level 1. Permission is number 2. Production is number 3. People development is number 4. And pinnacle is number 5. 5 Levels of Leadership. I would encourage you guys to get that. I have that both in book and audio book on Audible. By the way, every leader I know has Audible, by the way. Even though it's an Amazon company, we still have Audible. Because it's a great resource for great content. It's the only thing I'll be okay with you using from Amazon. Audible. Anyway, that's that, and that was good. I enjoyed that with y'all. Anything. Look at characters, everything, for sure. Yeah. Oh, what, Samira? So UK has Audible for IBV on shop.com. That's awesome. Listen, I'm texting. That's bullcrap. I'm texting Eddie Alberti right now and saying I want it in America. Come on, let's go. Thanks, Sam. Character is total integrity. I love it. All right. How many of you guys enjoyed that? Was that cool? Anybody want to contribute anything there? Y'all have a lot of. Anybody want to throw anything in there? I'm gonna open this up. Just feel free. Anything you want to add to things that you've learned over your careers and things in leadership development? I want to add some before I stop the recording. Anybody? What do you got? Give me some love. Give everybody else some of your heart. Some of your heart.
I can share. This is Brittany.
Thanks, Brett.
Hey. So I'll be honest. When it comes to the business for me always becomes whatever I need it in the moment to be. So you do talk about a lot of like pushing through your hardest times. And I'll be honest, there's many moments where I didn't have enough to push because I reached failure and that was it. And so sometimes you do need to take a moment to rest, to rebuild. So very recently, I want to share a backstory and then share what the results have been from that. Just very recently, about a little less than a month ago, my company decided to do a whole restructuring. This is my day job. Decided to do a full restructuring thing in the space of a couple of hours. I found out that I had team partners to do my job, and then they completely fired my team. Like they were just out of a job, and I work in sales. They then told me that everything that I did, all the hard work that I did, I had over $1 million in deals that I was working. I sell payroll to the government. They said that all that work was for nothing, and they basically changed my territory completely. And then they were like, Brittany, at least you still have a job. We need you to start all over and do whatever you did all over again. So, you know, I talked to my dad about it, and he's like, yeah, this is just what they do in corporate America. Get used to it. And I was like, oh my gosh, that's really scary. So shortly after that, I was like, you know what? I watched Colin Haskins, and I remember it brought back very bad memories of me as a kid, you know, seeing my dad go through that all the time, having a job one day and then not having one another day. What that led to was me just saying, you know what? I'm going to take a tenth of the work that I use in corporate sales and apply it to Market America and see what happens. Honestly, I just started messaging people, just asking them how they're doing, and then leading that to a conversation of asking them to help me practice my sales pitch. What that has led to is, I think I've talked to, I've definitely shown 17 plans. I just had one this morning, and I have another one tomorrow. I have a plan every single day that I'm showing, that's booked already. And most days I'm showing like 1 to 2 plans a day. Friday, I have like 6 people booked for a home presentation, you know, and it just kind of happens. When you're in a corporate sales environment, you understand that it's like one event to another event to another event. My deals are usually a year long to build. So I'm not really trying to like just force something, but I can tell you this, at least in Market America, you don't get fired, you fire yourself. Like it just doesn't automatically happen where they're just gonna take all your people from you and make you start all over. You know, and so I'm just saying that, like, just to put things in perspective, you can take a rest if you need to take a rest. That's a perk of being with Market America, but at the same time, it won't be taken away from you. And if you just take a tenth of the amount of work that you put into your day job, it's like it automatically just works. So
love it.
That.
Thank you, Britt. That was awesome.
Thank you, Britt. That was awesome.
All right. Good stuff. Anybody else? Oh, we all shy today?
Connie?
Oh, go ahead, Steve. And then Debbie, you're next. Go ahead, Steve.
You know, one of the things that we talked about last Monday on our companion call is that as people were brought into the organization, one of the things as leaders we have to do is identify where they are and have they spent most of their life in the 45-year plan, or are they familiar with what even takes to do a 2 to 3 year plan? And to really work on them, help them individually make that transition, because if they don't make the transition, you're like pushing water uphill. And the person themselves has to realize where they are and the changes they need to make. It's something they need to do. But many times you won't see it unless you point it out to them, so they have a chance to make the change. So we have great opportunities here with this organization, and you know, it's a gold mine, and it's as good as we take it.
Yeah, I love that. And by the way, Steve, and the key to that, what Steve was just talking about, is as long as it's coming from the heart, out of you know, out of guidance for them, they'll accept it correctly. But if if it's coming from greed, or it's coming, you want them to do this because it makes your business better, they will not. So remember, that's a huge part of having that leadership is, you know, a servant's heart. You're doing it because it's helping them, not because it's helping you.
Yeah, it's motivation over manipulation.
There you go. Yeah. Motivate. Leaders motivate, not manipulate. That's another one. Put that in. That's what I was looking for. Good job, Steve. Just so you guys know, Steve is a super humble, and you'll never know from him. But Steve not only like spent 30 plus years climbing the corporate ladder to like elite status at UPS before taking early retirement. He makes sure I say early for people. Early retirement. He says, I'm not that old, Don. Early retirement. But then he went from from being ridiculously successful in the corporate world to then, you know, becoming a business consultant, and him and his wife built another successful business as well. You know, with thousands of people there. So you're talking about, you know, a guy who knows his stuff. So you guys know who each other is, and you guys can leverage off of each other moving forward. Thank you for that. Go ahead, Debbie.
I was just going to say, I just recently had this amazing training called the Leadership Masterclass with Don Martin, and I just wanted to recommend it to everybody. That's all.
Thank you, Deb. Appreciate it. You're the best. Appreciate y'all. All right.